Big Boy's Neighborhood. Alrighty now, Dr. Dre. We're gonna get into some Nothing But a Dre thing. And Nothing But a Dre thing, man, is all Dr. Dre. And I feel like if I'm in business, radio business for 30 years, I came into radio as a fan first. So with Dr. Dre, he's just one of those guys that I paid to see Dr. Dre in concert. I went to go see Dr. Dre DJ at Skating Ring. I heard Dr. Dre mixing live on air before NWA. Then once Dr. Dre got into the NWA, the solo career, just everything Dre, I've always been a fan first. So Dre has been to the neighborhood many a times, man. I got some great memories with Dr. Dre. People say the most beautiful things about Dr. Dre. So this is Nothing But a Dre thing. And Nothing But a Dre thing is all Dr. Dre. All Dr. Dre friends, associates, colleagues, fans, your partner, Big Boy. So let's make it happen right now. All Dre. So this is Nothing But a Dre thing, baby.
I love working on that first album. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing.
Dre was like, he was like gold to us. I used to tell him Snoop could rap, like, Dre, Snoop could rap, you should listen to him.
When I heard it the first time, I just love the delivery. I love his concept.
Dre can make a party sound better than anybody.
Like Dre, like, he always have something in the studio that he's playing that he's excited about, that when he press play, he watches everybody else.
Right. These guys are genius as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Snoop, Eminem, Cube, all these guys are genius as far as I'm concerned that have made me look good throughout my career.
Dr. Dre as an artist and Dre as a producer and Dre as, you know, the talent finder is ridiculous. And there's no way I can sit and say everyone that Dre has had a hand in. You know, when it came to the Chronic, you know, Lady of Rage, Daz, Corrupt, Jewel, just people that we hadn't heard of ever until Dr. Dre kind of put this together with Warren G making sure that, you know, from 213 that he got his buddy Snoop Dogg in there. Never heard of a Nate Dogg until then. The hands that just his hand in so many different careers. Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar. The phenomenon when we heard Forgot About Dre, and Dre speaking of, you know, people thought that he fell off. And he came back in and said, give me one more platinum plaque and F-Rap, you can have it back. People say I fell off how my last album was The Chronic. And people was writing Dre off. But in his head, it was speaking volumes. When he said I kept my ear to the streets and signed Eminem, that's major. And speaking with Dre, and it's, you know, it's out there, it's not like I had this private conversation, but people was like, dude, why are you messing with this white boy? Why are you messing with this white boy? And Eminem changed the world when it came to hip hop. The places that he took hip hop to, the places that what the audience was starting to look like, you know, and then you have this wild guy on these Dr. Dre beats and listening to Dr. Dre's direction. The same with Snoop. When you first heard, you know, Deep Cover and how Snoop was, you know, timid and wouldn't look into the camera, and Dre putting that confidence and Snoop building that confidence of being the person that can look in the camera now, and Snoop Dogg is Snoop Dogg. Kendrick Lamar, I remember Dre coming to the station and saying, I'm looking for this kid named Kendrick Lamar. I remember Dre being in with us and saying, I found this white kid out of Detroit. I always say, man, Dr. Dre as an artist, Dr. Dre as a producer, Dr. Dre as a person that found talent we never heard of before, Dr. Dre as an actor, Dr. Dre as a Super Bowl halftime show. Think of everything Dr. Dre, all the people we put on, all the accolades, everything that we see. Think about if we took and we could hit delete. We hit delete on Dr. Dre. Think about everything we would have missed because of one man. And others But if you deleted Dre, things would have sounded different. At one point, yeah, Eminem gave his tape to Puff. Eminem gave his tape to Fat Joe. And Fat Joe said he gave it to him many a times. But Fat Joe was like, I didn't have the magic that kid needed. So if we were to delete Dr. Dre, think about all the things that go with him.
You would give cats just enough, and then their talent has to,
Yeah.
you know, get them.
Yeah.
Like
It's really-
you don't have to be on every record. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying?
Nah.
And I mean, that's from everyone. You know, we could sit here and go through a whole catalog of names of people that you just kind of set up, like the Kendricks, the 50s, the Snoops, the Games, the you know, so and you set them up, and it's like, okay, well, I gave this to you. Or we've created this together. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, I love working on that first album. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. And
Is
then
the
it's up
second
to
album
you.
worse? You're like, I don't want to work on the second album.
Nah, you know, it's just like a little bit of the fantasy is gone when you start
Right,
working
right.
on the second one.
Right, and
you know?
that first album is like that new energy also.
Yeah, it's a blank canvas. You know what I mean?
And we knew Dr. Dre from mixing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he was, you know, one of the top DJs in the city, you know, with Joe Cooley and
Yeah,
shit,
man.
and Egyptian Lover and Bobcat and all these dudes, you know, was the biggest names in the DJ space, you know what I'm saying, in LA. So, but I didn't know it was this nigga's cousin.
Right.
And it just, you know, it was like one day he called me. It's like, yo, we doing a barbecue and shit. And, Dre here. So, you know, I'm grabbing notebooks, pads and shit, and I'm rushing down there. And he,
And y'all stayed around each other? You and Jinx at that time? It was
yeah,
at
he was
Jinx'
right
house?
down the street.
Gotcha.
You know, it was like 3 houses down and shit. So, you know, go down there. Dre, last thing he wanted to do was hear us rap. You know, he there for barbecue and shit. You know what I'm saying? So we like, yo, you know, when you finish, come in the garage and check us out. We in the garage. You know, that's when he took his shit out. You know, his moms couldn't take the noise no more and shit. It was like, put that shit in the garage. Yeah, so we in the garage with the shit set up and waiting for this nigga to come out. And it's like, you know, Jinx is going back and forth in the house saying, yeah, you gonna come out? You gonna come out? So, you know, he finally came out and I had a chance to bust and shit, he was impressed. And then, you know, we started trying to hang out every chance we could. And then something happened where Dre had to move in with Jinx and his family for a period of time. So, you know, then I had access to the nigga right down the street. You know what I'm saying? So
It's crazy how it's written, though.
What was it like, Dre, when you first like knew of the guy that we know as Snoop Dogg? Like what brought you to Snoop?
It was incredible. It was incredible. My baby bro, Warren G,
Yes, sir.
he actually brung me the a cassette tape. And we were at a bachelor party, and I popped it in and listened to it like, whoa, I need to meet him. And what it was the way he said his words and his voice. You know, I really like working with artists that have interesting voices. If you notice, most of the artists I've worked with, you'll know their voice as soon as you hear them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that was one of the things that really turned me on.
Like, Warren G believed in me way more than me. Like, that's the nigga that knew. I'm gonna be honest with you, Warren G knew. That nigga knew all along, being around NWA and Easy and them, he knew. But I wasn't dope enough. We wasn't dope enough at the time, but he still knew. He was like, nigga, I don't give a fuck. We the hardest niggas, we this, we that. I just know.
Like he believed it when you didn't believe it.
That's
or
why.
Totally believe it.
He believed in me more than me.
Just called out the blue, like, what's up, man? Just checking in, saying what's up. And, you know, he was like, I'm doing a bachelor party for LA Dre and come through. You know, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna come through. So I linked up with my homeboy Gangsta Rod and Kenny Mack. We jumped in I think it was a RX-7 back then. I was like, fuck it, I'll ride in the hatchback.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I get back here.
Yeah. And we went up there, went in there. It was a nice bachelor party, a lot of beautiful women. You know, we from the hood, so we like blowed away with all the stripping. We
Right.
blowed away. And they had music going, and I was like, you know, I asked LA Dre, can I play this tape? You know, because they was kind of, you know, playing the same stuff a little bit. So he was like, all right, so he grabbed the tape and he started playing it. And he was like, this is hard. He was like, who is this? I said, that's me, Snoop and Nate. I used to push him. I used to tell him Snoop could rap. Like, Dre, Snoop could rap. You should listen to him. You know, because I know he was messing with artists back then. I was like, you listen to him, he dope. But he wasn't trying to hear that. Yeah, he was like, all right. He was like, oh, okay. Keep it pushing.
Warren G go to a fucking party with Dr. Dre and them and take our cassette tape and plays it when the music cut off and rock the house. So Saturday night, Dr. Dre calling with Warren G on the phone. I'm like, nigga, fucking Dr. Dre, fuck out of here. I hang up. Don't answer the phone. Sunday, Warren G called back again in the daytime. Snoopy, cuz I got Dre on the phone, cuz. What's up? Man, quit motherfucking lying. No motherfucking Dr. Dre, nigga. This is Dre. Hello? Hello? Yeah. I heard that cassette Monday. Can you come to the studio?
Now you in the best of both worlds, kind of though. Like it's
Remember what I just told you?
A decision.
I just told you Monday.
Yeah.
They got a beat already ready to go. Now I just get this call on Sunday from this nigga saying, "Can you come to Solar Records on Sunday? I mean on Monday." Why certainly? That's Dr. Dre.
Mm-hmm.
I've been waiting 4 months.
What was the relationship with 50? How did you grab 50 Cent?
You know what? Eminem.
Damn.
He introduced me to 50, and 50 was incredible when we went in the studio together for the first time. I mean, you know, we decided that I was gonna do half of the first album and Eminem would do the other half.
Damn.
And my experience working with 50, it was only about 7 days in the studio. I spent 7, maybe no more than 9 days, I'm not sure, for my entire half. You know what I mean?
Damn.
I would put up a track, he would write it, spit it, and go, yo, put up another one, put up another one, put up another one. And that was it.
And you see that and you're like, man, do you feel at that moment like, yeah, he got it?
Yeah.
This
absolutely.
Dude, yeah, he gonna be all right.
And it was really creative, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And you know, the song In the Club, I knew it was good. I didn't know it was gonna be that big, you know?
You got certain guys that are their relationships made them so powerful, like in our business, that they can't be moved. Like Dre, I don't think you understand. Like this is why you've never heard me say anything negative about him.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And also connected to like M, because M's our relationship. My Eminem is Dr. Dre is Eminem's. Eminem to me is what Dr. Dre is to Eminem.
Yeah.
So to disrespect him in any way is just you out of pocket.
What made you hear something in Eminem where you say, man, it's this Caucasian rapper out of Detroit?
Well, first of all, I didn't know he was Caucasian
Right,
when I
neither
heard
did
it.
we.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying? When I heard it the first time, I just love the delivery. I love his concepts and what he was talking about because it was just crazy. You know what I mean? I found out a couple of days later that he was a white cat. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then I'm like, wow, I got to meet him. I got to meet him. You know, this is amazing. And everybody around me at that time was trying to talk me out of working with him. You know what I mean? Every single person around me was like, "Listen, man, this is a white boy. You're getting ready to ruin your career right when we get the label started," because that was at the beginning of Aftermath. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I just had to go with my gut. I'm like, he's that hot. People are gonna get into it because it's that good.
Like Dre, he always have something in the studio that he's playing that he's excited about, that when he press play, he watches everybody else.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And see if they enjoy themselves immediately. And then when that record gets dated to him, because it's there, but it's not the thing he just made, I show up for it.
Dre was like, he was like gold to us. He was like what Quincy Jones meant to R&B.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to be able to work with Dr. Dre on The Chronic and then get to my album, you know, it felt like it was gonna be good, but not like what it is right now. Like you don't ever think that it's gonna be as big as it is. You just going in trying to make that shit feel good so the people in the room can enjoy it, and eventually the people on the streets can enjoy it.
How do you hook up with Dr. Dre?
Man, I see them in passing.
Yeah, because Dre is already someone that the world knows.
Correct.
you know.
Correct.
You know what Dre means to just hip hop and the culture and the things that built
Big
from
fan.
this soil.
Yeah, big fan. First
Yeah,
of all, you know,
fan first.
legendary even at that time.
Yes.
And so, I seen him in passing. I get a call from Snoop. Snoop wants me to be on his No Limit Top Dog album. And so he says, you know, Dre has the track. Go over to Encore. He want to work with you. So I broke my neck, got to the studio.
Hell yeah.
Ended up, you know, recording my verse in 15 minutes. It came out. That song was Bitch Please.
Oh, my Lord.
And it became a single for Snoop.
Wait, bro.
Yeah.
That's how that happened?
Yes.
Was you went to the studio
Mhm.
and recorded Bitch Please?
Yeah. First time working with him. 15 minutes in, thanked him for the opportunity and left. And because I didn't try to sit there and show him my 1,000 unprepared, unprofessional
Right.
songs.
Let me hit
You know what I'm
one
saying?
more.
Yeah, he respected the work ethic and the professionalism. And from there, I got invited back to be on his record. And from there, I got invited back to be on, you know, the Up and Smoke tour.
Yeah.
And it just, the friendship grew as the professional, you know, relationship grew. And it was dope, man. It was dope to be able to get under his wing and his teaching and his recording techniques and just also become like a brother to him.
What did that feel like when you guys were making Nothing But a G Thing?
Okay, there's a story to that. The original version of Nothing But a G Thing was made to a Boss Gag song. I can't remember the name of the song, but Snoop was actually in jail, and I really wanted this demo done. So he called in, and I taped the receiver of the phone to the mic.
Hilarious.
And he's in. You can hear jail sounds in the back and everything. He's 1, 2, that whole thing. So that was the original version. I just happened to be at my mom's house going through records, and then I found this Leon Haywood. I want to do something freaky to you, and thought that would make a better foundation track. So took that back, recorded the track. Snoop got out, and we just recorded this song at my house. It was a bedroom that I converted into a studio at my house.
Is there a Snoop Dogg, your top 5 of Snoop Dogg records?
Yeah, I probably do. I would definitely have G-Thang in it.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because the place that I wrote it from and the staying power of it all, the Compton and Long Beach coming together for the first time, the birth of Death Row Records, the foundation of this West Coast sound in the 90s, and just to prove that I could write a song for me and Dr. Dre and be a writer and not just be an artist. So I love that record right there for sure in the top 5.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, man, we had got into, we were on air, and I remember you called us up. And we were like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this guy, Kendrick Lamar. That was the first time I heard Kendrick Lamar, like, name as far as coming out your mouth. What brought you to Kendrick Lamar? What did you hear where you was like, man, I hear it in this guy also?
You know, believe it or not, Paul Rosenberg, Eminem's manager, is the one that put me on. I was in Detroit, and he's like, you got to hear this kid from Compton. So I went online, and the thing that really turned me on at the beginning was the way he spoke during the interview. It wasn't even the music at first. It was just the way he spoke and the way he showed his passion for music. You know what I mean? It was something in that. And then I got into the music and really realized how talented he was.
What's My Name is the shit. It's the shit.
See, I told you, man.
It's the shit. I can't front. It's
You
the
wanted
shit.
to say that first. You were like, oh, I don't want to give in to Big, man.
It's the shit. I just love the way it make people feel when they hear it. It's like that, the way they sing the Snoop Doggy Dogg, and it's just something about that record that just feel good. You smile when they come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, certain records, they give you a different facial expression, but when you
What's My Name?
Okay.
Now, What's My Name is one of those records, man. This remind me of years ago. I had a green Cadillac with a white Phantom top. I didn't have insurance on it, and my license wasn't as straight as it should have been. You know what I'm saying? But that's an anthem for me. And we already knew, like, Snoop, you know, the deep cover things. We already had this introduction to Snoop. But was that a record you purposely put together as another, like, a real introduction to the world? Like, we'd never forget that name.
Well, no, it wasn't an introduction. It was just another song that we did. It just turned into that. You know what I'm saying? We just did it. It was just another song that we were doing for the album, you know?
Damn.
And it just kind of felt like his opening, you know?
Man, and that's one of those records, man, like, I got in my mind, I know exactly where I was at. I know exactly that time period. You know what I'm saying? I know what the video looked like. You know, I know what my life was about at that moment.
Right.
And that's what songs are, man. It like soundtracks to certain parts of your life.
Dre can make a party sound better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So his
like I
ears
said,
was
I paid to see him.
His ears were always on point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was the one who would move the speakers and then he would make, and nobody can make.
That's that mad scientist
Nobody can
shit.
make the shit bang like he can.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody was smooth as he was on the motherfucking turntables either. Some dudes were more dynamic, but nobody was more smooth. Nobody could blend better. You know what I mean? Nobody could, you know, he was just like polished.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He just didn't have his shot yet. You know what I mean? But he was always
like the best of the best at that time too.
Yeah, you know, even though he was just coming up, you could see that, you know, this is a master at work.
Getting a star in Hollywood on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is crazy. I'm from LA. You know what I'm saying? At one point, you know, we didn't have cars, dealing with homelessness, and I would go to Hollywood, me and my boy Frank, and you'll walk by and you would always read the star. And I never had one of those like strong, man, one day I'm going to have one of these. One day I'm going to have one of these. I knew how significant it was. I knew the honor of it, but I just felt like, I'm not going to have this. You know what I'm saying? So I never even thought about it. So one year, there was a conversation of, you know, we should get you a star. And I'm like, okay. You know, saying, all right. Yeah, go get a star and bring me back something else. But the year after, I got approved. I got approved to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which was crazy to me. And if you guys ever seen my speech, I probably had one of the most emotional speeches because I'm from the turf. And I had my family there, and it was a hell of a day.
I've had a chance to attend quite a few of these ceremonies, and after the ceremony, they take pictures, they shake hands, and, you know, they enjoy that moment, but I never thought that I was going to be here. This wasn't one of those things before I got into radio or even as a child. You know, you wanted to be successful and you wanted to take care of your family, but I never thought about a star in Hollywood.
As they're doing the star, one of the things they're asking is who's going to speak for you. And when they ask you who's going to speak for you, they're not talking about like, oh, your sister's going to come up or your brother Mouse. It's not that. This is Hollywood. So they're thinking, what peer can you really get here that can speak for you? So my main thing was Dr. Dre and George Lopez. George Lopez for me was easy, low-hanging fruit, big. If I'm here, I'm there. Right away, I got George Lopez. So now, Dr. Dre. I'm expecting a no from Dr. Dre. You know, Dre don't really come out the house. Dre is like a unicorn. You don't just say, oh, I saw Dre last night. You know, you don't see Dre, and this is a moment for Dre to come out. So I hit up Dre, and I tell him the date. I'm like, Dre, you know, I'm going to get a star, a Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yeah, all right, big. What's the date? Oh, it's my birthday. It's September 8th. So, boom, I'll do it. And I'm like, wait, you know what I'm asking here? I'm not asking you to attend. I'm asking you to get up and speak. You know, oh, big, I'm there. What's the date? All right, cool. And I remember I hit my producer, Jason, and I told Jason, I said, Jason, we got Dre. We got Dre. Oh, that's fucking huge. It's phenomenal, everything, right? So then Dre hits me again. And he says, big, what's the date again? I'm like, oh, shit. Now I got to call Jason back like, no, we didn't have Dre. You know what I'm saying? So I hit him back. And as soon as he answered the phone, the only thing I could do emotionally was, Dre, no. And he was like, no, what's the date? So I told him the date. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm there. And I was like, this motherfucker. I knew what he was, you know what I'm saying? You know, and he's not the Lord, but giveth and taketh away. I knew what was going on here.
Man, I'm just happy to say that I'm here to support my man Big Boy here today, getting this great honor on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. How about that? How about that? I've actually, this is probably, I think it's my 4th time being out here, and this never gets old. And, you know, there's not a better place that I could be right now. I admire Big as a pioneer of radio, but also a friend, and only Big Boy knows how to control the airway for the hip-hop community here in Los Angeles and the world, you know. And I don't say that just because he's been playing my records for I don't know how many years. He's been representing and playing my records forever. But I say that because Big Boy is hip-hop. Big Boy is hip-hop culture representing the West Coast and worldwide. And I also remember coming to Big Studio to welcome him to his new home at Real 92.3. And that was a thrilling experience to see my brother get an entire radio station dedicated around him. Now, who does that? You know how difficult that is to do. You know, Big was able to accomplish.
That whole while with the press releases and, you know, Dr. Dre and them getting together and writing the star, I'm still not believing that this day is going to happen the way that it turned out. I'm not thinking, you know, George and people coming out. And you got to think, I'm the first year of the stars after the pandemic when people could come back out, you know? So I get there and Dre is there before me. And I look and I'm still having that moment. I'm having it now. I look and I'm like, that's effing Dr. Dre right there. And if you look at any of the footage, there's times when I had to be standing there like, this is crazy.
So when we listen to the Big Boy show, he doesn't just interview people. He welcomes them into his world. He has compelling conversations. And when we listen to Big Boy on the radio, we get to eavesdrop into his thoughts, his antics, his love for the hip-hop community. More importantly, for me, his love for the hip-hop community. So, Big, I love you. I love you for breaking barriers in radio entertainment as a black man. Yeah, I love your support and everything you've done for me in my career. And nobody deserves this honor better than you. Real talk. So thank you for inviting me here to represent for you. And most of all, thank you for making me and the entire city of Los Angeles laugh. You know what I mean? And what's more important than that? Yeah. Thanks, Big. Congratulations, bro.
This is crazy for Dre to be here talking about my friend and what he means to the culture, and the same things that I would say about Dre, he was saying about me. And it was such a moment to have that, but it didn't feel real until, not when I saw him. It didn't feel real when he said yes. It felt real about 14 days later when I went back and looked at the star. I was like, man, I'm not jinxing nothing. But it was a great day for me, a great day for LA, a great day for the genre, a great day for my family, and we pulled it off. I thought I pulled off the impossible.
There's nobody that I hold closer in my heart than I do Big Boy. And I remember when I first met him, and through the surgeries as well. When I first met him and I noticed that he had something on his arm and it said Ida's son, and in memory of his mother, I can say as my brother that Ida is shining down and sending her love and her spirit to you and your family and to all your friends, Big Boy. And nobody means more to the city of Los Angeles and to the people of Los Angeles and to all the people who listen to radio all over the world, armed forces included, and to the music. Dr. Dre spoke on that. And que viva Big Boy, que viva Los Angeles, and welcome to the most famous street in the world, Big Boy!
Super Bowl 56, now you guys got to remember, that's one of the only Super Bowls that I know by Roman numerals because I knew what was going on that year. That halftime Pepsi show was unbelievable. You got Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, right? Halftime show for Pepsi Super Bowl. That's already large. Then it's in LA. So now you got that roll call with the kings of the West Coast at SoFi during the Super Bowl. Dr. Dre in France, huge. In LA, huge. Now we're watching week to week when it comes to football. And the Rams keep going. and keep going and keep going. Now the Rams are in the Super Bowl. That's when I said if this was a movie, it'd be like, oh man, the Super Friends come together, and then it's that SoFi, then it's that SoFi with the Super Friends, and now the home team is in the Super Bowl. It's a fake movie. And then the home team wins at the Super Bowl. Watching that, I went to different practices, rehearsals for the Super Bowl. So I was able to see the layout when they were at the Santa Monica hangar and run a show, but I wasn't ready for what that looked like on that field at SoFi with everything there. And it was amazing. And it was a moment, not just for the genre, it was a moment for people that did it their way. You got Snoop Dogg up there crip walking. You got Eminem being Eminem. You got Mary J. Blige falling down and just singing straight to a camera. You got 50 Cent 20 years later hanging upside down doing In the Club. Beautiful, beautiful performance. And I remember speaking with Dre after, and we had a brief conversation about how good it looked via text. And then having the opportunity to talk to Dre about that big day after the Super Bowl was amazing, man. And I could keep it for myself, but I'm going to share it right now.
Dr. Dre, hello.
Yeah.
Hello. There to thank you, Dre. Hey, Dre, so we're fresh off just, man, a historical halftime performance, bro. Dre, you put so much into it, bro. And to see it pay off. First off, man, just leading in, and we had a chance to talk about this, how you assembled Mary J. Blige, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar. And going into rehearsals, what did the rehearsals first start to feel like, Dre, when all y'all came together?
You know what, man? It was fantastic, man. Those are all my family members. Everybody stepped up for me. Fatima Robinson killed it with the choreography, and Ez Devlin, she was amazing. I just felt like, oh, man, this is about to be amazing. From all the rehearsals, actually, all the rehearsals were fantastic. All the rehearsals looked pretty close to what everybody saw on TV.
Hey, Dre, let me tell you, man, being invited, and thank you, down to the actual rehearsals, I could have watched that 100, 200, 300 times and had the same feeling of what it looked like when y'all took the field. So, Dre, when you know that you got 100 million eyes that's about to watch this performance, what time do you get to the SoFi, and what do you do before you walk out and give us the halftime show?
Oh, it's a lot of tequila involved, Big.
Right. I heard that.
Really?
Is that
it's just like, I got to the stadium, because I thought about traffic and all that. So I got there maybe 2 hours before the game started. So I was sitting in the back of my trailer watching the game, hoping that the Rams would win, of course. And just soaking it up, man. This is a super proud moment for me, for the hip-hop culture, for L.A. and the whole nine, man. So I was just soaking it up and having a good time.
What did you feel when you hear the crowd?
Man, you can't imagine how many emotions I'm going through. I'm nervous. I'm excited. No matter how many times I do that, man, I'm so nervous, and I'm just like, okay, just don't mess up, bro. Just don't mess up. I'm talking to myself like that, of course, using different language.
Right. Now, you can say it, but what do you tell yourself, Dre? Keep it real with me.
Don't up. That's all you got to do is get out there and do what you do and soak this moment up, because, I'm getting older and I'm not going to have too many opportunities like this to really be able to go out there and enjoy what I've done and what I've accomplished like that, especially on a stage that big, So, yeah, I'm just soaking it up and enjoying the moment, man. And I'm just like, get my flowers right now.
Yeah,
big.
bro, as you should. Hey, Dre, did it feel quick to you as a performer, or did it feel?
No, that was fast. That was super fast, Big. We were allowed 13 minutes, which is a really short period of time for 6 artists to be up there and doing our thing. I'm still buzzing off of it, you know?
Yeah, man.
It was so beautiful, though, Dre. Everything that I think you did for the city, from what I appreciated most were the tiny, tiny details that you put into it, letting people know what LA is, what LA looks like, what it feels like, the locations.
Eve after dark, the map, like everything, bro. Like it
yeah, man. we actually had C walking on the Super Bowl stage.
Yeah, man. My man said, Korean. And I love how everybody was them. Like Snoop Dogg was Snoop Dogg. Everybody sound like the record, Dre. Like you sound like what we purchased.
Yeah, man. And, Mary Blige and Kendrick, I was able to, stand back and watch those two performances. The rest of it, I had to be on stage or behind the stage or whatever. But I had the opportunity to watch Mary and Kendrick, and I got goosebumps, man.
I love it. Hey, Dre, could you feel that energy? Because at the end, when you just kind of stood there and everybody was going crazy, could you feel that, Dre?
Oh, man, that's why we do this, man. That's what I call the God moment. That's one of those things that you cannot buy. You have to earn that.
Yeah.
You have to earn that moment.
Yeah.
You have to put in a lot of work to be able to hear the crowd go crazy for you like that. You have to earn it.
Hey, man.
And that's what we all did.
And you did. You earned every piece of that, bro. Just with the lowriders out there, with the dancers, it was a complete show, man. And I'm looking because Dre, I had a chance, thank God, and thank you to bear witness to the rehearsals, right? So I'm in the audience, Dre, and I'm looking at everybody, and then I get a chance to I'm looking at Cardi B. I'm looking at Offset. I'm looking at, Takeoff. I'm looking at Jennifer Lopez. I'm looking at Quavo. I'm looking at Chris Tucker. I'm looking at all these people, and everybody's going line for line, and everybody's standing up. And I'm like, bro, this is universal. This is worldwide, bro. This is people that's loving what we do and what you do without you even having to ask. Like, Dre, everybody was going off, bro.
That's what it is, man. That's why we do it, man. And the feeling is amazing. And Big, I'm just, right now, at this point in my life, I feel like I'm going to put in another 3 or 4 years of just going hard with something really amazing that I got in mind that's going to happen. And then I'm going to put my feet up and go vacation for a while.
Man, I'm going with you, too, because I heard you take great vacations.
Dre. Oh, yeah. I don't play with that.
Yeah, I heard, bro. Hey, Dre, were there any mess-ups that we didn't see?
No, really, it's ironic that you say that. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I was like, man, there wasn't one mistake. Usually when you do a show, you have something that goes wrong here or there, maybe no matter how minor or major it is. But I didn't see one thing that was wrong with the show at all. I feel like we had a flawless performance.
Man, I didn't see somebody stumble on a line. I didn't see somebody lose a breath, they didn't catch the words. Like, man, what about the others, Dre? Now, I know that you were saying that you nervous in that space. Did you and Snoop or you and M or Kendrick or Mary, did y'all have a conversation about nerves or we go?
No, we don't even talk about it. Right. Everybody knows what it is. We don't even talk about it. Everybody's nervous. We all know what we're all feeling.
Right.
That's just part of it.
Not to sit around in a circle and say, you nervous? Yeah, you nervous? This somebody else,
we don't do that.
Don't be nervous. And they're like, yeah, well, Dre, since you're nervous, yeah, now I am.
I know what everybody's feeling, and everybody knows what I'm feeling,
Man.
And that's part of the excitement, though.
This is historical, man, and you did it, and you made us a part of it.
Yeah, bro.
And I thank you for your brothership, man. And Dre, enjoy your day, man.
Thank you for representing and supporting, man.
Always.
I appreciate it.
Always.
Yeah, man.
All right, Brother Dre, I'm going to holler at you, man. You have yourself a great day, all right?
All right, you too, man.
There it is. That's Dr. Dre right there, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all continue to hang out with us, Big Boys Neighborhood. When Super Bowl went down, everybody popped up and popped off.
That was big. Look, Dre, that's Dre too. You see what I'm saying? It's Dre and really M because he wouldn't do it without me.
So when you do get the call, it's a no-brainer for you to do Super Bowl.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And because it's Dre's show, you got to pay for that. That was expensive.
Yeah, I know.
And we had to be here 7 days ahead of the show to rehearse it. I was like, I know the words.
Right. Yeah. Hang me upside down, man. I'm good. Hey, man, was it different hanging upside down 20 years later?
Yeah. A little more weight there.
Yeah.
And it was dangerous. It was rich versus reward. I was like, wait, I'm trying to make a great entrance. You know
right. Whose idea was it to hang you upside down again? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Right.
And then, after the second time in rehearsals, I was looking around like, why do I do this?
Right.
I'm so lightheaded.
Hey, man, I was about to say that. Do you come down lightheaded or you're like, man, I got a whole verse to do?
But I gave myself something physical, a physical task to deal with. Because I climbed up, I had to jump up. There was no harness or nothing. If I would have fell,
hell no.
I would have just fell like a national television.
For those that don't understand what it's like to be in a studio with Dre. Now, I'm going to tell you from my perspective, my experience that I had with Dre. My first time in the studio with Dre is Dr. Dre. So I'm literally in the studio and I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is Dre. This is an experience, you know? And Dre listens to his music and he mixes his music. Then extremely loud. So I walk in and I have the pleasure of listening to this music from Dre. And I sit down and we're at, you know, the mixing board and Dre is doing his Dr. Dre's production thing and, you know, turning knobs. Then it was like, yeah, you know, I want you to hear something. So then, and Dre is listening to the loud music and I'm sitting here with I'm like, but I can't tell him like, bro, I'm dying over here. I'm having a moment, but I'm like, dude, am I taking years? Am I taking a month off my life? And the music was so loud. I'm sitting here and the music and the vibration is so loud that my eyelash, I can literally feel my eyelashes like fluttering. But I'm still here trying to like, you know, thug it out. You know, like, and he'd nod his head and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, but on the inside, I'm like, dude, oh yeah, you're dying for this. All right, you're going deaf for this. So it got to a point where he was like, oh yeah, I got to kick up the bass. And I'm like, the bass isn't kicked up? When he kicked that bass in, it got to a point where, I'm getting it now, I couldn't swallow. Like, it was a task to just swallow because every time I felt like I was going to swallow, it felt like the bass hit me and it would bring it back up. So after about a couple minutes of just the bass coming in, I had to throw in the towel. I knew like, dude, and at that point I was like, you'll never get this opportunity again. But I was also thinking like, man, maybe one day I want to have kids. And maybe all this bass is not good for my fertility, for my scrotum, for my sack. I didn't want to be the person that died from listening to Dr. Dre's music and it took away from the story. Like, man, you know how he died? Like, oh man, he couldn't handle a Dr. Dre beat, you know? But I had to literally get up and I had to walk out the session. And I think that day I saved my life because Dre wasn't going to do it. I didn't know if there was another notch on bass that he could have turned up, so I had to think about me at that time, you know, and I thugged out probably a good 7 minutes, you know, but the rest I couldn't do. I was like, man, you know, maybe you want to live, you know, maybe you want to live, maybe you got some more life in you. So I got up in there and I bounced.
There's a story that you gave me about Multiply. I'm thinking, I love this record. I know this record.
Yeah.
I had never heard that story before. You know what I'm saying?
The intro.
Yes. So the intro that we know, the first thing that come out is
I've been this way and I can't stop.
Tell me the backstory on that.
That took me about 2-3 hours to get that line.
Yeah, man, this one.
That one. I've been this way and I can't stop.
And why did it take you 2-3 hours to get that line?
Because he wanted me to sound like a down south preacher.
Right. And this is Dre.
Dre. I kept saying, I've been this way and I can't stop. No. I've been this way and I can't stop. That's what he wanted. I couldn't understand why or where he was trying to take me, but I wasn't fighting. I was just like, and then he sat there patiently with me like, nope, try it again. Nope, try it again. Nope, try it again. And then I did everything. I went back out there. I went close to his face. I was like, am I missing? Like, and then eventually it was like, oh. So I had to break out of what I thought I needed to sound like and got into where he was trying to direct me. And that's why the first intro lines sound like that. You know what I'm saying?
So one year, we're at a video shoot for Xzibit, and I think it's like year 2000 video shoot, and everyone's there. And Dre is a tech guy. For those that don't know, Dre was always up on the technology, so on and so forth. And he's a film guy, and he's a green screen guy, and I'm pretty sure he's an AI guy. So I'm talking with Dre and Philip Atwell, director, and Dre says to me, "Hey, Big, how they do your head on the billboard for you doing the splits?" And I was honest, and I told him, I said, "Dre, that's me." "Man, get the fuck out of here, that ain't you." "No, Dre, that's me. I'm doing the splits, bro. Like, no, because it was genius the way they did your legs and how they did." I'm like, "Dre, it's me. I don't want to get Dre, but now I've done this before." So then here comes Fuzzy. So I'm gonna blame this on Fuzzy. So Fuzzy comes over, and Fuzzy says, "Dre, that's not Big, but that's Fuzzy's part. That's not him." But I'm telling Dre, it's me. "Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here." I'm like, "Man, I bet you can't do it now." "You bet I can't do it now." So I told him, I said, "Man," I bet you $5,000 that I can get down to do the splits right now." So him and Philip Atwell, they're laughing at me. You got to think, this must sound ridiculous that you're looking at me, 500 plus pounds, size 64 waist pants, 8X shirt, extra, 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 extra large. And you're going to tell me you're going to do the splits right now at this video shoot? $5,000. All right, let's go. So I tell him, I say, "Walk over here and I'll do it." Him and Philip Atwell put together $5,000 cash. I take her to the other side, and I'm literally looking at Dre. Go down a little bit, go down a little bit more, go down a little bit more, and I'm looking at him. Boom. Balls on the ground. Oh! Get up, get my money. Didn't get Fuzz's cut yet, but I get my money, $5,000. You know, and you can call it what you want. I've heard Dre say everything. "You burned me. You scammed me."
Oh, you bringing this up?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, let's go.
And he was like, he said, "Hey, Big," he said, "how did they do that billboard, man?" I'm like, "Which one?" He's like, "The splits. How did they do like your legs and put your head on that body?" And I was like, "Dre," I said, "that was me." And he was like, "No, man, get the F out of here. Get the F out of here." You know what I'm saying? And so it was Philip Atwell and you.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, so Fuzzy comes in, and, I'm going to tell you the trickery now. Fuzz is like, "Man, that's not him, but that's his part." You know what I'm saying?
Hustled me, man.
Yeah,
That was his part.
that was his
How
part.
much did y'all get from me that day, man?
I got $5,000 from you that
Look
day.
at this, man.
Yeah.
So now we go from the video shoot, and we go to Farm Club, which is a event that Jimmy Iovine had. Now we're on this sound stage, beautiful sound stage, and it's like the NWA reunion where it's like Snoop, Dre, and they're doing the hello. And so I'm there and I'm talking with Snoop, and Snoop says to me, "Hey, cuz, how did they do your head or your legs on that billboard?" "Snoop, it's me." "Oh, cuz, that ain't you." Here comes Fuzzy. "Yeah, that's not him. That's not him." So then, like the voice of God, I hear, "Hey, Snoop, don't bet them N-words. Them motherfuckers." And he killed it. He's like, "Don't fuck with them. They took my money." Yeah, so Dre must have been somewhere, because when Snoop, it was during sound check. So Snoop must have been talking, and Dre was somewhere else in this studio, somewhere. Huge studio, we're shooting a production. Dre must have been somewhere like, yeah. Hold on, wait. And then he killed that bet on the vine. He was like, "Man, don't F with them N-words." He said, "They got me for $5,000, so." Now we go to the Farm Club?
Oh, man.
With Jimmy Iovine?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was the same day. We go from there, we go to the Farm Club, right? And I'm talking, Snoop is on, and he's sound checking. And just off mic, you hear Snoop. Snoop is like, "Hey, cuz, how do you do that billboard for you?" And I was like, "Man," I said, "No, Snoop, that's me." oh, cuz that's not you, that's not you. And so we start the same thing on Snoop. A few hours later.
I couldn't let that happen, man.
You remember
Yeah.
you weren't even on stage. You must have been somewhere with hot ears or something. You was like, hey, Snoop, fuck them niggas, man. Don't let them do that to you. Them got me this morning. Fuck them. I'm like, man. You know, like, he was like, hey, man, it's a setup. It's a setup. Don't fall for it. You know what I'm saying?
And aside from Dre, I know that I've made over $50,000. I know I've made over $50,000. And there's some people right now, Imani from the far side, there's some people right now that's thinking, he got me too. Because I would bet that I couldn't do the splits. But oh yeah, $50,000 easy. That used to be my come up.
So I don't know if I need to shout out anybody of all of my friends that are here already because that's been said a lot of times. So I'll just get into it. I'd like to thank the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, who felt that I was finally ready to walk in the footsteps of Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, all of whom got stars before me for some fucking reason.
Once it came around that Dre was going to get his star, I mean, I would have made my schedule around, even if it was vacation, whatever, you know, a knee surgery, whatever it is, I would have made sure that I was there to just watch this happen with Dr. Dre getting his star. So when Dre gave me my star, I thought that was, man, I was on cloud 9,000. So then I get a call like, would you present Dr. Dre his star? And I was sitting here and I'm like, you know, I hadn't heard anything. I'm not really in the industry like that, but I'm thinking, dude, are they doing like a new MTV Punk'd? Are they doing, is it a new Gotcha show or something like that? But when they asked me to do his star presentation and be the one that's up there and hosting and, you know, Dre, come on up here, hold down, and, you know, I want to say a few things about the honoree Dr. Dre. Even when I was writing and preparing and looking at that, I still couldn't believe that, damn, I'm going to be on stage giving Dre this star. And the world is going to see this. And not just the world. I'm tripping off of when I see Eminem. I remember my first interview with Eminem, with him coming in with the, you know, the Slim Shady patch to hide my name is, and it just had Slim Shady on it. I'm thinking about not having a driver's license and driving a Cadillac and listening to Snoop Dogg in my Cadillac. I'm looking at these people. I'm thinking about when 50 Cent first came to the neighborhood to do an interview. I'm looking at DJ Quick, how I went and purchased tapes from the rodeo. So not only am I having this surreal moment of about to hand Dre this star that's going to be in Hollywood forever and a day, I'm looking at my peers, but I'm looking at people that I'm a fan of. And I even went back, I haven't even watched my footage when I got my star, but I went back and watched Dre's. And the camera shot that they had with, on the front line, Paul Rosenberg, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Boss Lady, 50 Cent. And when you can hear my voice, you just hear them like laughing or clapping. And I'm like, dude, that's me presenting this star, you know? So it was just a hell of a magic moment and an honor to be asked to do that. And I think they could have asked anyone, you know, and anyone would have stepped up and did that. But asking me, like I said, I would have moved a whole lot to make sure I was there, and I was there. For me, there's also not just the great music, but also just, you know, knowing Dre. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dre is a guy that has sent me to his doctor. Dre is a guy that, you know, would hit me and ask, you know, hey, Big, you in the gym, you working out? We go back and forth about, you know, yeah, you know, Big, yeah, I'm getting back in. I'm in at the top of the week. Go to the house, you know, he's on me about these damn chin-ups. I keep telling this guy that I almost said lying, but I have a shoulder chair. And I've been telling him, like, man, you know, I have you know, my rotator cuff is messed up. Just like he'll put Xzibit into the booth 400 times and make him repeat something. He's not hearing when I say this. You got to build that muscle around here. You got to build it. But I think the reason why he'll say that is because he cares. You know what I'm saying? He cares about Big Boy. Dre don't have a record that he needs me to play. Dre doesn't have an interview or an artist that he feels like he need a favor for. Dre messes with me because we built this relationship. You know, even when I look at my phone, if I go to Dre, you know, and I don't want to expose too much, but all good, Big. Love you, bro. Solid. Love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's always something that's positive when it comes from Dre. I sent him the video of me, you know, finally doing chin-ups. You know what I'm saying? And he sent me back and was like, "You doing them wrong." You know what I'm saying? Told me, you know, that's dope. But then in the same text, he said, "Keep your chin up." That's why they call them chin-ups. But who would tell you that, right? Somebody that love you, right? Somebody that love you would tell you that. You know, keep your chin up. But that's a guy that I consider, you know, a friend. I don't need nothing from Dre. Dre absolutely needs nothing from me. I've never been in a gotcha situation with Dre. Even when Dre had his aneurysm, his brain aneurysm, he hit me up on FaceTime. And I'm looking at Dre in a hospital bed and not putting anything extra on it because he's talked about, you know, his aneurysm and things of that nature. But knowing that he was comfortable enough to pop on FaceTime from the hospital to put his brother at ease, that's a very special relationship right there. So it's been a pleasure knowing this man. It's been an honor knowing this man. It's been surreal being next to Dre. And that's why when it came to a BigBoy30 special episode and the way that you see people coming together, this could have been 2, 3, 4 hours long if I would have went out and said, "Oh, Dre, 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 Dre." Because when it comes to Dre, you love him, man. And that right there is why we call it Ain't Nothing But a Dre Thing.
Get on your motherfucking Braveheart shit, nigga. Did it right. I would never fuck him out. But I was the first Indian over there. I'm ready. What you doing wrong, man? You pulling it back and you letting it go right here instead of like pulling it back to get that full velocity. Go, nah. Oh, I would have had that if I would have had it. What I came with, no, what y'all gotta do, y'all wanna do, man, you wanna have this finger here, all right? You wanna do that, put these 2 fingers under here. Listen to me now. Who taught you how to do Dre did, but listen to me, all right? Tuck right here. Now, as you coming up, right, you coming up, you wanna lock in. Get that right under your chin, then let it go. All right? Here's something. Who's here?